Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sketch by Sketch. Today we're going to be drawing holiday outfits in different decades, so let's get right into it. Alright, first up is the 1950s. Today I'm going to be showing you some inspiration pics before we do the drawing, and then I'm going to be actually creating the drawings here in my sketchbook. I'm going to do all of them on the sketchbook spread, so I have a lot of fun idea saved here for reference, and we're going to get right into the drawings. So today I'm sketching in my ELO sketchbook, and I'm using a Prismacolor Kohl Erase colored pencil. I love drawing outfits from different decades. I just think it's so fun to compare these older outfits to things that we wear today and to see how things are coming back around. It's just really fun to look in the past at some of these fashion and outfits that you would see worn, and especially doing a Christmas theme this time of the holiday outfits is just really fun, and it's going to be just a really festive and pretty spread once we get done. For the 1950s character, I decided to go with a dress with this fun collar and a pretty tie bow in the front, as well as the kind of fluffy 50s style skirt, and then I added some details and boning to the bodice of the dress. I just think it's really pretty, and I also put her hair in a vintage inspired updo with a pin curl in the front. Really adorable. Alright, now moving on to the 1970s. I skipped the 1960s just because it's pretty much just a blend of the 50s and 70s, so I just thought that I could do just a drawing from the 50s and one from the 70s. So here are the inspiration pics that I saw. Lots of skirts, fun colors, layering, sweaters, and wide leg pants. Everything seemed to be pretty bold and red colored. Here is also a little video of like a 70s outfit I saw. So lots of fun ideas, but I think I like this one the best right here with these skirts. I just think it's really cute, so that's what I'm going to use as my main reference. And for this drawing, I decided to go with the super layered, feathered, fluffy hair with a headband. And then for the outfit, I added a collared button-up shirt with a pearl necklace and a mini skirt that matches the top. So once I get to coloring, this top is going to have a cool pattern on it, and it's going to look totally 70s. Alright, next up, this happens to be my favorite decade, the 1980s. I'm seeing some matching like blazers and skirts, and then these really fun kind of like party type dresses, I guess. Really cool. This picture could be 80s or 90s, so I'm gonna go with this one right here, just the classic sweetheart neckline dress. This reminds me of a lot of like 80s prom dresses and things like that, but I'm definitely gonna give it that holiday flair by the coloring and just adding in all those details. Alright, and for this outfit, like I said, I'm just going with this sweetheart neckline dress, and I added a chunky necklace. Just because this dress is strapless, I feel like it kind of needed an accessory there, so I'm definitely going for the necklace. And then to really draw in the theme of this, I'm going to be adding in the really fluffy hair, and that's just going to tie this all together. And I'm also going to be adding a little bit of like colorful makeup once we get to the coloring later. Alright, now that we've added the big hair and added in all the finishing touches, I think this drawing is looking totally 80s and I love it. Alright, moving on to the next decade, we're going to go for the 1990s. Here I just have a few pics. Here we just have like a slip dress. I know those were popular, and then like plaid skirts. And this one could be 80s or 90s, but it's also just like a really pretty red dress. It's just very glamorous. I definitely think the 90s has two sides of clothing. One side, like the flannels and the beanies, I'm not a big fan of, but some of this like very glamorous, like classic looks that came from that era are really pretty, I think. So I'm gonna go with this red dress. And I definitely love the makeup in this picture. I just think this reference is so beautiful. So I'm definitely going to try to replicate it in the drawing. Alright, and now that I'm finishing up this drawing, we're going to do line art super quick. There you go, line art's done. Okay, of course it wasn't that quick, but didn't really want to show it because line art can be kind of boring. So let's get into the colors. I'm using a Hoo Hoo markers today. Shocker, I know, I always use them. I just love those markers, so that's why I'm going to be using them today. So I'm just going in with some skin tones, and I'm just going to be coloring all of these kind of at the same time because some of them are going to use the same tones and colors. So I'm just going to be kind of going back and forth and coloring these. These aren't going to be completely finished illustrations. They're still going to be sketchy because they're in my sketchbook. And I didn't really want to do 4 completely finished drawings. That would take a really long time. But I am going to put a little bit of time into them and try to add some pops of colors and really make this drawing look super festive. Just adding in this little bit of shading, even though I didn't color the entirety of the skin, really just makes it pop and makes it look different than the rest of the page, and it really doesn't require you to do a full-on coloring job on it. If you just add in these little bits of color here and there, the person who's looking at the art can see what you mean, and it just looks really good. I also recommend adding some form of like eyeshadow with a brown color. That also really elevates the look of the drawing without having to spend too much time on it. Alright, and now I'm just adding a little bit of like makeup to each of the drawings. I'm going to use some pinks and reds, and of course for the 80s drawing, I'm going to be adding in a little bit more of colorful makeup, like by using blue and a little bit darker blush color. The 90s drawing is going to have a little bit more natural. The 70s I went with a little bit more of a pink tone, and in the 50s I did the bold red lipstick. So I think that all of this makeup looks different, and I think it looks really cool just to see the differences in each of the drawings. Alright, now I'm coloring in this beautiful red dress. I've got to tell you, I want this dress now. I think it's so pretty. This drawing that I'm working on right now has to be my favorite of the entire page. I just think that this dress is just so beautiful, and when I started adding that pop of red to the page, it just all came to life and looked so holiday, and I just really love the way that it looks. Now, because I'm loving this red color so much, I'm going to start adding red tones to the rest of the drawings. I'm adding a yellow tone to kind of make the 50s dress look more of like a cream color instead of just plain white. I think it looks really nice up against the red color of the accents on her dress. Now I'm going to start coloring in the hair tones, just keeping this really simple as well, not really going into too much detail, just using these different colors to color in the hair. Alright, and as you can see, I added a little bit of a background there to the 50s one. Now I'm going to start working on the designs on this 70s shirt. I decided to go with green so that the entire page wasn't just red, even though red is my favorite holiday color, but I did want to add in a little bit of a different look, so I went with green, and I just started adding all these designs and kind of outlining the shirt. I wanted this to look really abstract, and so I didn't really pay too much attention to any pattern or anything like that. And I went ahead and colored in the headband and the earrings just to tie it all in together. Now I'm going to go in with a lighter green color and just color over top of that, leaving some white space just so it still looks like a textured shirt, but you can still see that the rest of the shirt would be green. And then I also added some tights for winter. Alright, and then of course to tie it all together, I had to add some red, so I went ahead and colored the skirt red. I think this outfit is really cute as well, super holiday, and I just love these color combinations. And then I'm coloring in the background as well. I added a background to each of the drawings just to kind of separate them and have them look different on the page. And then for her hair, I'm going for more of a blonde tone. I think that looks really good up against the red background. For the 80s drawing, I'm starting by coloring in the hair a darker brown color, and I'm just going to be filling this in kind of abstractly so the hair looks curly. Alright, and now I'm going to be coloring in the dress. This is still a red color, but it's also more of a burgundy, so it definitely looks different than the rest of the drawings, but it still has a holiday look to it. And I colored in her jewelry gold. I added a bracelet and that necklace, as you can see, And then after I added the main color, I'm just going in with a little bit more of a lighter red just to kind of add the effect that there's multiple layers to the dress and it has different colors in it. Then I went ahead and added a dark blue background to match the eyeshadow. For the last drawing, I'm just now adding in the sparkly details with a gray marker. I definitely think that it resembles the sparkles on the dress that we saw in the reference photo, so I definitely like the interpretation there. Now I'm just going to go in and do the hair. The hair is very fluffy and layered, so I tried to capture that in the way that I colored it. And then now I'm just going to add the finishing touches. As you can see, we're finishing up the drawing here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any more holiday themed video ideas for me, let me know and I'd love to see them and maybe make them for you. Hopefully this was fun to watch and I had a fun time drawing it. Thanks so much again. Bye!